All right. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the artificial embryos and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So they're not going to stop doing that. The
Mm,
testosterone rates and the sperm rates since the 70s have just been plummeting,
good
and
point.
there's no end in sight. It's gone. The sperm rates in particular have gone down by like 1.6% every year since 1973, I think.
Good point.
It's on track to hit zero by 2045. There's a an epidemiologist. Her name is, hold on, I've got some notes here. It's her name is Shauna Swan. She's one of the many scientists who are saying that it's actually going to hit zero in most of the northern hemisphere by 2045. That's the reason why they're so gung ho on bringing all the immigrants in, because immigrants from the southern hemisphere, their testosterone rates and sperm rates haven't dropped by as much.
Yep. Yeah, it's really scary what's happening, and it's like so it's that is happening, and also just families are just not happening outside of that reason, right? Like people just aren't going out and meeting. People are isolated, drugged up. So it's like an attack on the family at every possible front. So yeah, that is a good point, and that is why these companies are ramping up to replace that with their version of a life.
I think a big reason why people aren't coupling like that anymore, it's not just the testosterone rates, because women's endocrine system is all haywire too. But like with men having a 50% less testosterone rate, they're just not as interested in women as they used to be. It's just not as big of a thing for most men.
Yeah, that's scary. What do you think it is causing this? I think it's diet, stuff they're putting in the water, stuff they're maybe pumping out of the sky. It's birth control for women as well. Are you looking at anything else?
Yes, I'm looking at something else. I'm glad that you guys asked. I've actually been knowledgeable about this since like 2018. I was way ahead of everybody else on YouTube and Tim and everybody about the population collapse. So I believe that there's two factors that have mostly contributed to this. The first and the largest being they set off over 2,000 nuclear weapons during the nuclear testing era,
Mm-hmm.
and they put lead into gasoline for like 50 years. And heavy metals and radiation both have a very negative impact on general health, on mental health, on fertility. I see people talking about microplastics in the chat. So
Yeah.
if you go back and you look at when they started taking these readings in the early 70s, the amount of microplastics in the environment were very low compared to what they are today. And the rate at which testosterone and sperm have dropped has been almost exact same
Hmm.
for since the 70s. It's almost not changed at all. So
Wow.
I'm not saying that microplastics aren't bad. They're definitely bad. But if it was the microplastics doing it, the microplastics just spiked in the 90s. You would
Right.
see that rate drop by a faster rate. It would have gone down even more. And we're not seeing that.
And we certainly set off a lot of nuclear bombs, and it didn't just stay contained over there in the Southwest. That is a huge issue. We were watching videos a few months ago on the show when they would line up soldiers to watch them go off, and it's a
Yep.
little dicey to know exactly what happened to those guys, because a lot of them, I don't think the VAs really knew what they were getting into. Just like last night, we were talking about the people at Area 51 who say they're dealing with this what they call the invisible enemy due to some secret operation they were working on that made them extremely sick with huge tumors, and one person says it even changed his DNA. And I imagine it's not just unique to those people, because these things spread. You look at Fukushima, you look at East Palestine. This just gets into the weather pattern and goes everywhere.
Yeah, most of the tests, especially the ones that were anywhere close to a megaton, they actually ejected fallout into the stratosphere, which got picked up by the jet stream, and it evenly distributed it. So it doesn't matter if you're a downwinder or not.
Right? Wasn't that was it Operation Fishbowl?
Yeah, part of it was Operation Fishbowl, but like I said, most of I don't know exactly what the cutoff is, but somewhere around like 200 to 300 kilotons, that's big enough to eject fallout into the stratosphere.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done that, huh?
Yeah, probably. It was a bad idea. I've seen people in the chat talking about how the lead toxicity is mostly gone. So the lead And the heavy metals from the nuclear test, which the heavy metals from the nuclear test were actually just as bad, if not worse, than the radiation. It doesn't matter that the radiation levels have gone down. That's caused long-term DNA damage and epigenetic damage. I'm actually working on a amateur research paper, and this is all in there. It's almost up to 40,000 words now. There's a lot of evidence that says that both the heavy metals and the radiation causes severe long-term epigenetic damage that's cumulative, so it gets worse every generation, but you pass it down too.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you have never been exposed to heavy metals or radiation. Your parents were dosed with it so much that now your genome is basically irrevocably damaged at this point.
So it's inescapable.
It is inescapable, and it took longer for the fallout to kind of leach into the southern hemisphere, but it has leached into the southern hemisphere. Even places like Africa that have just crazy high birth rates forever, they're at less than half of what they used to be.
Yeah, and then to add to all that, the stuff that they're genetically modifying and kind of not telling you, that's in the supermarket. You know, like salmon is a good example. You know, they had these salmon farms, and a lot of them are modified. I call it a bug that they've been modified with, but it's actually like a slug from the bottom of the ocean that they do it, that they make these like hybrid salmon with to make them bigger. And a lot of them are from the salmon farms, but there have been many breakouts. So you can't even quantify how many hybrid salmon have gotten into the wild salmon population now. And I don't know if anyone out there has noticed just the changing color of salmon in supermarkets, but it's been noticeable in the last like 5 years. And they dye
pump it all full of dyes too.
Yeah, and they dye it. It's disgusting. And that's just salmon. You know, it's
yeah,
a lot
it all
of
goes away when you cook it, so who the hell is the wiser?
No, it gets even worse when you cook it. It's so toxic.
Oh, the same thing, you know, you get these chicken breasts too that are just like, oh, these are some big chicken breasts. They're just literally, they take a syringe and they pump them full of shit.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, look at the difference of the eggs we get from Chicken City and the eggs you get from the supermarket. Like any eggs you get directly from a farm are completely different. They have a different color, taste, they cook differently than what you're getting in a supermarket.
Yep.
And we're dealing with Bill Gates and what he's doing with the appeal thing where they're wrapping a lot of fruit with his appeal, which is like, I don't know what you call it, like a wax or something. And that can't be good for you. And he's also making his, you know, fake lab-grown butter, but it's everything. And like I was saying, it's a war on every possible front of the individual and then the family, and that's why we're where we are at right now. And you make a really good point about tying this to what we were talking about with these companies. And man, I wonder if it's stoppable. I'd like to stop it. I don't know if other people agree.
I personally, I kind of don't think it's stoppable, but I'm kind of black-pilled on this issue. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want everybody in chat to check out two things. So there's this thing called Project Sunshine that they ran in the 1950s. There's also another kind of research thing they did called the St. Louis Baby Teeth Survey. They've known about all of this, in my opinion. They've known all of this since the 50s.
Can you give us a brief rundown of each of those?
So Project Sunshine was they stole corpses from hospitals to test them for fallout levels, and like they body snatched dead babies from hospitals. It's really dark.
When was this? Did you say? Sorry.
This was in the 1950s. It's called Project Sunshine. So they did a bunch of crazy stuff trying to map where the fallout was landing and what was happening. But in the St. Louis Baby Teeth Survey, they found that the rates of, I think it's strontium-90, I don't remember the name of the particle, was like 1,000 times higher in the baby teeth than it was supposed to be.
Wow. I'm looking it up right now. I have not heard of this. Holy crap.
Yeah. So they've known about this since before the sexual revolution.
Right.
I think that the sexual revolution was actually a strategy that they implemented to try to head this off. I also have another theory that's pretty dark. Wow. I think that they named us Gen X, Y, and Z, which is the end of the alphabet, because they knew that we were going to go below replacement rates during Gen Z.
Dang. Yeah, it's dark. That's dark, but you might be onto something, because a lot of this stuff is planned out. You know, last night we had Catherine from Scotland on talking about the Fabian Society. We were talking about Yuri Bezmenov. They plan these things out. They plan on destroying the individual and society. That's what they do. That's what evil does. So, you know, you might be onto something with that. I am blown away by Project Sunshine. That is insane. Insane. I will be going down that rabbit hole later. And the other one. Well, thank you for that. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I have another theory. In the 1970s, all those cattle events. So those were helicopters with low noise, stealth helicopter blades with lights embedded in the blade. And if you spin a light like that really fast and you pulse it, it makes it look like there's a static structure. There's a toy. It's called, I don't remember the name of it. I think it's the Galaxy LED spinner. You can look that up. It's just a little kid's toy. It's like $20. That looks just like a UFO. And if you put those lights in a helicopter blade just like that and run it at night, it looks indistinguishable from a flying saucer.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Very interesting. Hey, man, appreciate the phone call, despite how dark that is. But I think you are onto something. And thank you for that information. I'll be looking into it.
Thanks. Like I said, I'm working on a research document right now. When I get done with it, I'll send it to you guys. It's like 40,000 words.
Yeah, well, I think we should like to continue this conversation for sure.
Yeah, we're going to deep dive into this, and maybe we'll pick this up on another episode or something if we could pull some information in on it. Huh?
Yep. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Hank.